Going. Okay, sit yourself onto your left and come into a good cross-legged position. And just have a little wiggle about, make sure that you feel like you are sitting evenly. Let's have a little wriggle about. Feel that the seat bones are level, hold onto your knees. And then elevate your heart area upwards, draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Just listening to the sound of the inhalation and the exhalation. After a few moments, just observe, just rearrange if you feel like you're suddenly not sitting evenly. And then bring your hands into Namaste. Press the palms firmly together. Lengthen from your armpits into your elbows into the heels of your hands, the heels of your hands into the fingertips. And then allow your eyes to gently close. Focus on long, slow, deep, deliberate inhalations and exhalations. Fill the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying your lungs from the top to the bottom. Draw your chin down to meet your chest. Spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude. Something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area. And then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tip of the index finger together with the tip of the thumb, just a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence, and peacefulness that we can carry into our practice as an intention. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Hold onto your knees, lift up into the heart area. Take deep inhalations through the nose, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top, and with the following exhalation, draw the abdomen across to the right side. Draw the abdomen across, and the ribs and the shoulders. Try and get the belly button to point at that right knee and beyond it. Just keeping your neck soft, just looking forwards. Continuing to fill the lungs from the bottom to the top. Emptying them from the top to the bottom, using the exhalation to intensify the turn. Come back to the centre. Hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. Using the exhalation to deepen the turn, using the back hand to dig into the floor so that you stay on the front edge of the seat bones as you turn. And then come back to the centre. Just stretch your legs out in front and then get your belt and throw the belt around your feet. Have the feet hip width apart to start off with. And push the legs into the belt. Tighten your kneecaps and turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Make sure that you're not trapping your the backs of your thighs against the lift. If the backs of your thighs are too far on the lift, just shuffle forwards a little so that the backs of the thighs are free of the lift. And then just work to push the feet into the belt, to tighten the kneecaps, to turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, to give you space in the hips. And then elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. If you've got back problems, just stay at this stage. Just stay lifting the heart area, activating the legs. If your back feels okay, then you can just come forwards a little at a time. Don't go all the way forwards, not at first anyway. Just gently come forwards, lifting the abdomen away from the legs, lifting the abdomen to the diaphragm, keeping the head lifted. If you can reach around your feet, then do. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, reaching around the feet. Have the thumb, rather than having the thumbs on top of the feet, bring the thumbs around with the fingers around the underside of the feet. If you're using your hands on the feet, press the kneecaps into the sockets. Keep lifting up into the chest. Lengthen from the hips into the heels. Wing the elbows out. Just come forwards a little bit at a time. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Pressing the shins firmly into the floor. Just observing how eager or reluctant your legs are to activate. And then gently come back to the centre. Just observe how quietness comes over the brain when you come out of a forward bend. And then come off the lift. So if you're not doing dog down, go back into dandasana, but you don't need to go forwards this time, just a normal Dandasana. Just lifting up. You can go forwards if you want. Otherwise, come into dog down. So I want you to activate your legs in dog down in the way that you did in Dandasana. So hit the kneecaps through to the backs of the knees, hit the thighs into the floor, hit the shins into the floor. Although, of course, the floor is at the backs of the legs in Dandasana. That's where I want you to hit them to. So I don't mean drop everything to the floor if you're in dog down now. I mean hit the fronts of the legs through to the backs of the legs, like you were doing in Dandasana. So just observe how the body feels in this pose. Just listen to the breath. Listen to the inhalation and the exhalation, and observe your body's response to the pose. Lift the seat bones, tilt the tailbone up to the ceiling. Do the cow pose. Do you remember the cow pose where you lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs, you lift the tailbone up to the ceiling? Everyone come down onto your knees. So if you're not doing dog down, you can do this next stage. So on all fours, we're in neutral position, where the hands are directly underneath your shoulders, your knees are directly underneath your hips, and then tilt the tailbone up to the ceiling, lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs, lengthen from the knees into the toes, and then activate the abdomen, from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone to the chin. So it's the cow pose. So this shape is what we really want in dog down as well. Maybe not overdoing it. If you've got a bendy lumbar, you need to really draw the abdomen towards the spine if you've got a very bendy lumbar. But the opposite is the cat pose. Tuck the tailbone in and draw the chin towards the chest. This is a nice stretch for the back, but it's not particularly effective in the other standing poses. We tend to try and avoid this kind of shape where the chest drops, where the chest shrinks, and observe that in this pose is actually there's a restriction to your breath. Quite difficult to get a full breath, so don't stay there for too long. Just come back into neutral. Observe how that releases the breath, and then go back into the cow pose, lifting the seat bones, lifting the tailbone, extending the front of the body from the abdomen to the diaphragm to the collarbone to the chin. And observe how this makes the breath more free. So this is what we want for dog down. So stay in the cow. Bring your hands as wide apart as the mat. Turn your toes under. You might have to step back a bit in a moment, but come up onto the tiptoes in dog down. If you're not doing dog down, go back into Dandasana, or you can do Sept padangusthasana, and then lift those seat bones. Lift the tailbone. Do the cow pose. Keep your knees bent initially. So everyone bend your knees. Do the cow. So cat, really lift the tailbone to the ceiling, and then straighten your legs. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. That's better. You can let your head hang down, but keep the seat bones lifted, activated. Step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then have some blocks for your hands for half uttanasana. the edge of your feet up really precisely with the edge of the mat. Now I say those exact words sometimes when I'm in the room teaching, and I say line your feet up with the edge of the mat. Have a look round the edge of your mat, and people are still standing like that, and I don't know where their head is because they're kind of not listening. So just line the edge up really precisely with the edge of your mat. Spread the toes. So this action of just bringing the foot in line with the edge of the mat is helpful for the hips. Turn the fronts of the legs consciously inwards. Push the inner knees away from each other and then lift the inner knees up towards the groins. Keep turning the thighs inwards, the fronts of the thighs inwards. Keep pushing those inner knees away from each other, lifting them up towards the knees. Have your hands on your hips. Wing the elbows towards each other behind you. Try and reach the thumbs towards each other behind you. Up into the chest. Keep the head lifted. And then hinge at the hips. Keep the legs straight. And then reach down. Find the blocks. Have the blocks underneath your shoulders. And then do the cow pose. Lift the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Lift the tailbone. And then activate the abdomen. Draw the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. Listen to the breath. Hit the shins back so that your weight is in your heels. Listen to the sound of the breath. If you can go down lower, then do, but not at the expense of losing the extension of the legs or the spine. Just go down incrementally. If you can reach the floor, then that's good, but keep the action of the legs really firm. Try not to disturb the legs. Keep the extension of the spine. If you can reach around your heels and draw the body in through the gap between the legs, then do, but all the time keeping the head as the last thing to come forward. Keeping the head lifted. Because as soon as you push forwards with your head, you start to round in the shoulders. And we want the shoulders to stay activated, the shoulder blades. Okay, just come back into half uttanasana if you were doing full version. And then bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up, and then come up into the standing position. Just be in Tadasana, just feel that you're elevating out of the feet into the legs, into the hips, into the torso, into the neck, into the head. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Focusing on long, slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Spread the toes of the left foot and then bring shorts up a little. Tighten the kneecap. Keep that leg in Tadasana as you bring the foot up and into the thigh. Now you lose your balance when you let that standing leg go. So just come in and out of the pose. Try bending the knee and then putting the leg there. And you almost immediately lose your balance. So keep that leg straight. Keep this leg really firmly in Tadasana. Keep the kneecap tight and keep the thigh lifted. Keep the thigh turning inwards. Keep that leg activated as you bring the foot up into the thigh. Then when you're there, keep the leg turning inwards. Keep the outer thigh sucking in and pushing the foot into the thigh like you're squeezing the tube of toothpaste, and all of the energy is extending up into the chest. Just stretch your arms down for the moment. Just find that compactness in the legs, that turning action of the standing leg, pushing the foot into the standing leg, pushing the outer thigh into the foot. And then raise your arms over your head. So ideally, palms are parallel to each other like urdhva, but otherwise, I mean, I run out of ceiling height, so I've got to make a bit of a variation of that. But try and maintain the firmness of that standing leg. And then release your arms, release the leg, and then come into Tadasana. So when you brought that leg back down, what did you observe? Did you observe that that leg, that foot had turned outwards, which means that rather than turning your leg inwards, you were turning it outwards? Or when you brought the foot down, was it just kind of settled directly back into Tadasana without you having to turn the position of the body? So that standing leg helps to keep the whole pose rooted, because this is a tree pose, of course, and the trees require roots. So the standing foot needs to be the thing that really kind of pins everything to the floor. Spread the toes, tighten the kneecap. Do Tadasana obviously with both legs to start off with, turning the thighs inwards, tightening the kneecaps, tucking the tailbone in, lifting up into the chest. And then keeping that leg firm, keeping that leg in Tadasana as you lift the foot and then bring the foot up into the thigh. Keep that standing leg as much in Tadasana as possible. And then once the foot is there, then return the Tadasana to that leg. Turn the front of the thigh inwards. Suck the outer thigh into the foot, suck the foot into the outer thigh, and then feel that tube of toothpaste effect up into the chest. Keep that standing leg in Tadasana. Raise your arms up and then extend your arms over your head. Just look at something that doesn't move. Use a wall if you need some help with your balance. Keep that standing leg really firm, sucking the outer thigh into the foot into the outer thigh. Soften the jaw and the tongue and the throat. Just observing, keeping that foot planted firmly. So of course there will be fluctuations, and the leg will be accommodating those fluctuations. Keep the weight in your heel if you can. And then release, and then bring the foot back down. And did the foot turn out? Did the foot turn out? So we try to keep that foot really firmly in position. Okay, get yourself a chair, and so you can use a chair or just side of a sofa or whatever, coffee table, but make it a little higher. So that my chair, it needs to be kind of roughly, not all the way, but roughly kind of hip height. So this is quite a lot lower than hip height, but when I raise that leg up, it becomes more kind of hip height, kind of in effect. And then have a belt, just put the belt over your right shoulder. So you need to stand at a distance where you're not going to have the whole of the leg on the lift, just the heel. So step back a little bit until it's just the heel that's going to be lifted. You can use something to help you to balance to start off with. So just find that initial distance. Have the belt where you can reach it. Spread the toes. Tighten the kneecaps. Turn the fronts of the thighs inwards. Tuck the tailbone in. Lift up into the chest. So our extension always starts with the feet. Our feet and the shins and the knees and the thighs. There's no extension in the spine unless those are activated. And if you lose one of them, just let your shins go. Then everything above it goes. So it's a house of cards, but a bit more secure than a house of cards. That's a bad analogy, actually. It's a, well, you know what I mean. Lift up into the chest. Spread the toes of the left foot. Have a look down, look where your foot is. And I want you to try and keep that foot perfectly in place. And then raise your leg up to the lift. So if you've got something to help you to balance at this stage, you can just look down at the foot and see, have I moved the toes out to the side? Or is that foot still in a perfect Tadasana? So Tadasanaize the legs, turn the fronts of the thighs inwards, almost kind of slicing the inner knees towards the wall behind you. Do the same with the lifted leg. And then hook the belt around the foot and then push that leg into the belt like we did it in Dandasana at the beginning. So keep turning that standing leg, keep that standing leg in a firm Tadasana and then lift up into the chest. In this pose, the hips often go out of line. So consciously lengthen the right hip, that lifted leg hip, away from the right armpit. Keep turning that thigh inwards, lifting up into the chest. And just cross the belt over and then raise your arms over your head. Urdhva, hasta, padangusthasana. So as you raise your arms, what happens to the leg? Keep that standing leg in Tadasana. Keep that lifted leg in Tadasana. Keep the hips level. Okay, release your arms. Release the leg. Take the belt off. And then bring the foot down. Is it in perfect Tadasana? Or had you moved that foot out to the side? So it's about trying to keep that foundation as secure as you can, because then everything else will kind of fall into place a little bit more. The balance will be better. So the more you keep that standing leg firm, the more you will maintain your balance. Have your belt over your shoulder. Spread the toes of the right foot. Do a really clear Tadasana before you start. Turning the thighs inwards, tightening the kneecaps, tucking the tailbone in, lifting up into the chest. And then raise the leg up onto the lift. So I could probably go a bit higher actually, but you know, sometimes it's good to just find something that helps us to just maintain that levelness of the hips. So going too high can often make the hips go out of line. Turn the thighs inwards, keep the kneecaps tightened. Throw the belt around the foot and then push the foot into the belt. Lift up. Maintain that standing leg, Tadasana, turning the front of the thigh inwards. Lifting up into the chest. Tadasanaizing that lifted leg, turning the thigh inwards, and then lengthening the hip of that lifted leg away from the armpit a little. So the hips feel level. And then just cross the belt over, reach up, come into urdhva hastasana with the arms. nose and out through the nose. Keeping the standing leg firm. Keep turning that standing leg inwards, the front of the thigh inwards, so the back of the thigh broadens outwards. Okay, and then gently release the leg, release the belt from the foot, and then bring the feet down. So did the foot move? I think my foot moved a couple of degrees. So you have to kind of try and keep that standing foot as secure as you can, because then your balance is better. Then the whole shape of the pose maintains its lift. Let's do the same pose, but we're going to do the parsva version, where we kind of, so you turn, so your right side is facing the chair. Spread your toes. Tadasana your legs, tighten the kneecaps, turn the thighs inwards, tuck the tailbone in. Lift up into the chest. And then release the right leg, bring it onto the lift. But try to keep these thighs turning inwards. So this leg, keep the leg turning inwards. Have a look, have you moved the toes out to the side yet? So try not to if you have. Or move them back if you have. Throw the belt around that right foot and keep turning this leg. The other leg you can turn outwards like you're doing trikonasana. Turn the standing leg inwards, turn this lifted leg from the big toe side to the little toe side. Hold onto the belt and lift the chest. And then stretch out to the side. With your palm, you can turn the palm all the way up, rotating the upper arm in the socket, just to open up the shoulder. Or you just have your hand facing down. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Keep that standing leg firmly in Tadasana. Keep the lifted leg turning like trikonasana. Okay, and then gently release. Did that foot turn? Did it move? Or is it still in position? Just turn around, have the just tadasana the leg, lift the left leg up, throw the belt around that left foot, and then just go back to your Tadasana. Turn the front of the thigh inwards. Hold on to the belt, turn the thigh inwards. The temptation to turn it outwards is really strong. You can turn this lifted leg outwards like you're doing Tadasana, Trikonasana. Lift up into the chest and then stretch out. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. Pushing the foot into the belt, keeping that standing leg firmly in Tadasana. Turning the other leg in the thigh a little so that the hips maintain their levelness. Okay, release and then bring the leg back into Tadasana. Observe whether that leg has moved. And come back to the centre. So, as I mentioned last time we did this pose, which I think it was Monday, or it was earlier this week anyway. The full pose is where you get hold of the big toe in padangusthasana style. Keep that leg standing, and then we bring the leg out to the side. I'm not balancing very well today, but these, I'm not balancing at all. So these, doing it like this, just requires that standing leg to really maintain its levelness. That Tadasana action to really remain. But holding onto the big toe kind of makes hips go unlevel and all that kind of stuff. So sometimes it's good just to stay with the with the belt. So move the chair out of the way and then come down onto your knees. Go into Sept padangusthasana if you're not doing dog down. And then if you're doing dog down, have your hands shoulder width apart. Turn the toes under. And then come up into dog down. Do the legs, do Tadasana legs. Turning the fronts of the thighs inwards. Do the cow pose with the pelvis. Lifting the seat bones away from the backs of the thighs. Lift the tailbone up. Tadasana your legs, turning them inwards. The more you turn them inwards, the more space you have in your hips. So the whole turning of the legs is to benefit the hips. So we turn the legs inwards to bring space into the hips. When we do parsva, urdhva, hasta, padangusthasana, the one where the leg is out to the side, the lifted leg you turn like dog down, because then that helps you to kind of almost screw the hip into position, because that lifted leg hip wants to go out of position, so you rotate the leg in the opposite direction so that you can activate the hip. You can squeeze it into position. So the turning of the legs really gives us space in the hips. Take deep inhalations, filling the lungs from the bottom to the top. And then come down onto your knees and sit back on your heels. If you're in Sept padangusthasana, just stay on your back if you like. And then just observe your energy. Observe how your energy has changed from the energy that you had at the beginning. If you're a little tired at the beginning, perhaps you feel that lightness of energy. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And then come down onto your front. So come onto your front, just be on your elbows for a moment and spread your toes, spread your fingers. And then at first, especially after doing all of that work in the legs, your legs will be quite happy just to kind of flop into the floor. But if we're going to do any kind of back bend, you need to, we talked about that kind of house of cards. As soon as something goes underneath, then everything goes. So if you don't activate your legs in a back bend, even this might be quite a lot for your back, just on your elbows. Then if you don't activate your legs, then the chances are you're not activating your spine, and then you just kind of squeeze yourself into position, which isn't good. So pick up the leg, turn the legs inwards, do that Tadasana action with the legs, and then push the feet consciously into the floor. Tighten the kneecaps so that they literally lift off the floor, and then turn those inner knees up towards the ceiling. So really turn the legs like you're doing Tadasana. So the fronts of the thighs turn inwards, and then what you're probably more conscious of this time is that the backs of the thighs turn outwards. And then what you probably also notice with that action is that you don't clench your buttocks, because the legs are turning to prevent that from happening. And then turn the tailbone in. Turn the tailbone in. And then lift the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. So just the little crocodile pose. And then if you want to go further, you bring your shoulders, your hands underneath your shoulders, and then keep the pelvis down, keep the legs activated, keep the elbows into the sides of the body. So you don't necessarily straighten at the arms. Keep the pelvis down, lift the abdomen to the diaphragm, to the collarbone, to the chin. If there's no problem with your neck, then lift the chin. But if that causes discomfort, then just have the head looking forwards, shoulders away from the ears. And then gently release. Come down onto the floor, just rest your head on one side. And then flop into the floor. So the cobra or bhujangasana. So it has to come from the legs, and if it comes from the legs, then you naturally are more able to protect the spine. Just allow the body to flop into the floor. Okay, come back up onto your elbows. Reactivate the legs, re-tadasanalize the legs. The difference, of course, is that you're pointing your toes, but nonetheless, still turn the legs in the way that we've been doing. So the backs of the legs broaden outwards, tuck the tailbone in, draw the tailbone away from the lumbar, draw the tailbone towards the floor, and then bring your hands underneath your shoulders, and then keep the tailbone turning in, lift up into the chest. Keeping the shoulders down, keeping the elbows into the sides of the body. And then gently bring yourself down, just rest your head on the other side and just flop into the floor. So the turning of the legs gives you space in your hips. If you've got stiff hips, it should give you some additional space. Even if you haven't got stiff hips, it always gives you additional space. Just resting your head on the other side, flopping into the floor. Okay, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, lift your head, and then sit back on your heels. Again, just observe your energy, observe how it has changed. And then come forwards, hinging at the hips, lengthening your arms away. Turning the tailbone in. Okay, bring your hands underneath your shoulders, push shoulders into the floor, lift up into the chest. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then come into cross legs, just sit in a good cross leg position. If sitting directly on the floor doesn't work for you, then just sit yourself on a lift. Hold onto your knees, elevate the heart area upwards, drawing your shoulders down. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across and your ribs and your shoulders. Listening to the breath. Come back to the center, hold onto your knees. Take a deep inhalation and then turn to the left. I think I might have said left last time, but just turn to the other side. Whichever side you did last time, just do the same this time. And then gently come back to the center. Come down onto your back. And just have a blanket where you can reach it. You can put the blanket, folded blanket underneath your head. Just making sure that it's folded evenly. Before we relax in shavasana, just pull your knees to your chest. And then raise the legs up to the ceiling. Breathe in through the nose and out through the nose, listening to the breath. And then gently bring the feet down to the floor. And then extend your legs along the floor. Just come up onto your elbows. Just make sure you're in a really good straight line right down the centre of the mat. And then allow the body to release into the floor. Allow the body to sink into the ground. Just allow the body to become heavy on the ground. Unhooking the muscles of the arms and the legs so that the body becomes heavy and light at the same time. Let go of the muscles so that the body relaxes completely into the floor. Observing that energetic lightness that radiates from the bones into the muscles and the organs and the flesh and the skin. in-breath and the out-breath to distribute that feeling of energetic lightness down into the toes, into the fingers, and up into the top of the head. And then when you're ready, just begin to wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers. Bring yourself back into this pose of shavasana. And then draw your knees in toward your chest. Have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom. And then gently roll over onto your right side. And then straighten out the top leg, come back up into a seated position. Just final cross legs with your hands in the masti, a final spinal lift. Draw your breath in through your nose and down into the abdomen. Be conscious of the energy that you've released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy that the extensions and the forward bends, and the standing poses and the back bends, the twists and the reclining poses bring to the body and to the mind. And then to bring the chin down to meet the chest. Acknowledge the energy that you have released through your practice this morning, that good, positive, healthy flow of clean energy. And then send some of that clean energy, that positive energy out into the world. And gently release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. Bring the tips of your fingers, index finger together with the tip of the thumb. Just a gesture of wisdom, physical intelligence and peacefulness that we can carry into our day. And then raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though you've really lifted your energy and you've woken yourself up a little bit and you've got lots of good energy to put into the rest of your day. So thank you very much for joining me.